everyone, this is Jamie with Simplicity by JME, and welcome to Tutorial Tuesdays for November 15th, 2016. Today we will be working on Lesson 2 of our How to Crochet series, and we will be covering chaining and single crochet. So last week I told you to familiarize yourself with the yarn aisle of your local store, craft store, department store, Walmart, whatever it was you wanted to do, and pick up certain supplies. For this project today, and I'm going to give you a short, small pattern that you can practice with, you are going to need any worsted weight yarn. This right here will be what we will be practicing our chaining with, so it's just a small amount. This, of course, is my favorite pair of scissors, but whichever pair of scissors you like. You will need a 5.5 millimeter or I crochet hook. This just happens to be a boy crochet hook from Walmart. And you will need any yarn needle. I'm using the bigger one today just because it'll show up better. So, let's get started with chaining. In order to chain, and it's actually quite simple, you need to start with a slip knot. Now, everyone does slip knots differently. You have some people who do just a wrap around the finger and pull through. I've seen somebody who actually does one where she wraps it but does this odd little twist and it gives her her first chain. I just use one finger and then kind of push it through. That's the easiest way for me, okay? You'll find your own way. Different people tell you different things, different books tell you different things, it's however. Make sure you leave a long enough tail, one for you to weave in, but it also, when you start off, it helps give you something else to anchor to. Okay, and you'll see what I'm meaning in a minute. But when you chain, you're going to pull it just, not horribly tight, because if you pull it too tight, it'll slide, but you won't get your stitch right. So you just want it just tight enough, right there, that you'll be able to maneuver all of this through. Now, in order to chain, what you'll do is you'll grab your tail, or grab right at the knot, which is usually what I like to do. Yarn over, or just loop it through the hook, loop it through the throat. Remember, we went over this in lesson 1 for the anatomy. And pull through the loop. Okay? Again, loop it around, pull through. Loop it around, pull through. That, honestly, is all it is to create a chain. There's not a whole lot to it. So, for the pattern that we're going to be working with today, what you'll need to do is get a total of 36 chains. Now, when I say 36, I'm telling you right now, this does not count. The loop on the hook does not count. So, you're going to count these right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, until you have 36. Okay? Now, I'm not going to bore you with going through and crocheting 36 chains. But you can pause the video until you get your 36 chains. Alright? But, like I said, it's just a yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. Okay? So, go ahead and pause the video. Work your 36 chains. And we will pick up the actual pattern for what we are working on when you get back. Okay. So, if you've paused or if you haven't paused, I need to readjust myself here. You should have a chain of 36 stitches. Okay? And it's actually fairly long. I can't get it all in this angle right here right now, but the 36-inch chain will measure somewhere around 9 inches, okay? That's from the tip of this knot right here, at the start, the slip knot, to the end of this stitch right here, okay? So, and if you've noticed, I've changed colors. We were just working with the scrap earlier. But what we're going to do, in order to work on this pattern, we're going to turn the chain, and we're going to single crochet. This is what we're working on now. We are working on our single crochets. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Now, like I said, this one does not count, so it would be 1, 2. Okay. Now, in order to get this into a more uniform texture, you can rotate the chain, and we're going to work in the back loop, this little ridge right here that runs along the back. All right, you see these? Now, so yarn, no. So what you're going to do, and you may have a little difficulty at first, you're going to insert your hook into that loop. You're going to yarn over like we did with chaining, pull through. Now you've got 2 loops on your hook. Okay, you're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through. That right there is your first single crochet. Now, we're going to continue with this, working in these back ridge loops for a total of 20 stitches. That's counting your first one. So right there you've got 2. All right. Through the loop, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through. That right there is it. So I'm going to work a little ahead in this project, and I will show you what to do when you get to the end of your 20 single crochets. Okay? Okay, guys. So now we've worked our 20 single crochets into that chain of 36. We've got our 20 single crochets right here, and you'll have 16 chain stitches that will not have anything in them, okay? This right here is going to be your little tail. So just kind of forget that exists. We'll come back to that later. Now, what we're going to do in order to move along with this project, we're going to chain 1, turn our project, and we're going to single crochet in the same stitch. Okay, so you're going to put your hook through the top little stitches. This little looks like a chain right there. You're going to yarn over, pull through, and single crochet like you have been. So there's your first single crochet, and you're going to work this back down the line for another 20 single crochets. Okay. Now, what this means if you look at it, the project itself is getting incrementally larger just by rows. So this is 1 row, this is 2 rows. We're going to do this for a total of 5 rows. Okay? So, when you get to the end of the 20, you're going to chain the 1, turn it, work in the same stitch, work your way back down. Same thing. Get to the end, chain 1, turn it, work your way back down. When I get that finished and get to the 5th row, I will come back and I will show you what we're working on. Okay, guys, so now I'm in row 5, and as you can see, this is simply just worked back and forth. So we ended the chain, we went this way, chain 1, go up, go back down, and it's all back and forth. Now when we get done with this particular row, we will be going the same direction as the rest of our tail. Okay? So if you just you've lost count on how many rows you're on or that sort of thing, odd numbers, your working end will be at the same end as the tail that you started off with for your beginning chain. Okay? But all of your single crochets should be worked in just like this. Now, your project may not look like this. Everybody's tension is different, and the yarn that you use will make a difference. There's so many variations and variables that'll go into it that'll cause your project to look different than everyone else's. And you know what? It's handmade. That is perfectly fine. No two pieces that you make will ever be identical. And that is actually one thing I really like about handmade things. But this right here is our last chain, or our last single crochet. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to create a slip stitch to finish this off. So we're going to yarn back over, pull through, pull tight, and we're going to pull up a tail here. Okay? So what we're going to do with this is we're going to take this and we're just going to snip it. Pull the yarn that you're no longer using out, and then pull this tight. Okay? So that right there will be secure in order to keep this from unraveling. And then you're going to take your yarn needle and you're going to, of course, thread it with the yarn. And what you're going to do is, in these stitches, you're just going to kind of work this through. Weave it in and out. And we're going to do this a total of 3 times. Okay? Because it'll keep it nice and snug and you won't have to worry about pulling it out. But just kind of work it through the yarn, and if you'll notice, it doesn't come through. So this is right between the stitches. Okay? But we're going to pull it. Then we're going to go in just a little differently. Like, just skip the one that you just came out of. Pull it back through again. Again. Okay guys, I'm going to apologize. I did not know that my memory card got full, so that last little bit cut off. But what we ended up doing is you weave it in a total of 3 times, just a little differently with each pass. Okay? So that means that you're not pulling the yarn back out where you worked it. But when you get it done to the 3rd one, you will snip it with your scissors as close to the project as you feel comfortable with. Okay? If you don't feel comfortable using scissors, you can use fingernail clippers if you like. They will give you a nice close cut. And then just kind of pull it just a little bit to get it kind of evened out. And now, this project, if the gauge is correct, and you know what, it doesn't really matter with this particular pattern, but you'll end up having the main body right here to be about 5 inches by 1.25 inches. Okay, so 5 inches long, 1.25 inches this way, and then you have this right here. So what we've ended up making, this is just a quick and easy little bookmark that I came up with a few years ago that are great, like teacher gifts for last minute if you went, oh wait, I need something else, or stocking stuffers, or just kind of a whatever. If you notice, it does have a tendency it wants to curl, and that would be my tension. If yours does this and you want to, you can use spray starch or liquid starch and just cover this end, the body, with it and set it under something so it'll dry flat. Make sure if you do that, you leave the tail loose, okay? Okay guys, so now we're going to finish this off with a very simple tassel. And it's optional, you do not have to do it, but you know, it does kind of make it look more finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply take, and I've already done one of these and I've got the original tail to begin with, but we're going to take it and we're going to put your hook, let's see, this is on this one, this is the tail, so let's add it right here. You're going to put it through one of the first loops of the very first chain, and then you're going to take and just measure off a quick section of yarn You can measure it with the existing tail if you're using it, and just make it a little longer, or just guess and eyeball it. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll wrap it around, pull through, wrap both strands around, and pull that through the loop as well, okay? And then you'll just give it a yank to make sure it's secure. And then what I did was I made sure that I separated the strands. So you're going to pull each strand, and this is a 4-strand yarn. In the description box below, you will find links to our Facebook page, our shop, and our blog, where you can find details and information about what we are currently up to. Check out our other videos to see what we currently have going on. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email us. The address is in the description box below. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.